Hey everybody, welcome to our second episode of Happy Hour and Home. Yes, number dos. I am Eric, co-founder, co-owner of And Home with my wonderful wife Liz. This is Brian. Brian, tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
My name is Brian, and I grew up in Middlesex, New Jersey.
Okay. Local guy.
Yes, very local. As local as it gets, I think. But I founded Ingrained Baking about 2 years ago, back in 2018. Oh, 3 years ago now.
Here we go.
Hey.
2021, welcome.
So, I started that company just to get some of my pancake mix out to some people. Maybe grow the line a little bit down the road, but just as kind of a medium for my recipes to the public.
Yeah, awesome. And if you saw our first episode, we had a lot of fun. We made a few drinks. Believe it or not, we are in January. A lot of people are doing dry January, so we're going to keep it pretty healthy today.
Yes.
At least for half the show. So we're going to introduce you guys to...
I should get these off of here.
Oh, yes. We've been making the pancakes pre-show. There's going to be a lot, and Brian's going to get into what we're going to do with these pancakes here. But certainly want to let them cool for our special surprise later. Now, before we jump into that, just want to address the elephant in the room. Brian and I are in each other's COVID circles. We're not wearing masks. We are standing pretty close to each other, but we've been very conscious about the whole COVID environment, obviously. So playing things safe for sure. So before we get started, why don't we just kind of go through what our game plan is today? We're going to focus on, what would you call this? A ginger tea.
Let me get this out of the way.
Yeah. So pull up our ingredients here.
What I think we could call this is kind of like a tonic or an elixir.
Okay.
This is something my brother, who studied nutrition and fitness for a while, kind of turned me on to. Ginger is really good for gut health.
It is.
And this just happens to pack enough of a punch,
Yep.
kind of make you feel like you have some sort of an alcoholic cocktail because of the spiciness from the ginger.
So dry January, this is kind of scratching that itch. If you gave up the alcohol for the month, but
you missed
still
those
want a
2
little
fingers of
something.
bourbon. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So we're keeping the alcohol out of it again. Being health conscious today, but I think this will be a real treat for everybody.
Yes. So to make the base, it is 4 parts water, 1 part ginger. This isn't an exact science. This isn't something that you need to break out the scale and do by grams or ounces. I tend to make mine a little bit spicier because I've been drinking this for years and I've kind of gotten used to it. But if it's a little too spicy, you could always just add a little bit of water and dilute it down. Mm-hmm. Being that it does have that kick, we're going to add some lemon juice and honey to it.
Okay. So why don't we go ahead, get started. We're going to mix it up today. So episode 1, Brian was doing everything and I was just kind of cracking jokes and watching. So this time, Brian is going to teach me how to make this pretty awesome drink. So where do we get started?
Let's get some ice in the shaker.
All right. So I got my shaker here, handy dandy. Let's grab my off-screen ice bucket. How many cubes do you think we need?
Just enough to fill the bottom of the shaker. 6 pieces is good, These are some pretty big cubes.
I'm going to do 7, I think that's right.
I'll allow it.
Okay. Let's get this out of here. Cool. All right. Ice is in the shaker.
Let's go ahead and pour some tea over it. Now, obviously, this is going to be for the vessel that we have, so I'm going to let you take the training wheels off.
Okay.
Pour as much ice in there as you want.
Okay.
I'm sorry, tea.
Should I pour the ice in this pitcher?
No. Scratch that and reverse it.
Gotcha. Okay.
Tea into the shaker.
Okay.
Just enough to cover the ice, pretty much.
All right. I'm filling this up here. All right. Covering the ice. Perfect.
Good. Now, let's take our fresh squeezed lemon juice.
Lemon juice is in here.
And just like a... Good.
There we go.
Yep.
A little spritz.
And a few seconds of honey.
Seconds. That's the official term?
An exact measure.
Exact. Okay.
Probably should have heated.
When do I start counting? Like when it starts coming out?
As soon as you break the seal.
Got it. Okay. So let's see.
Good. That was almost a minute.
That was almost a minute. All right. Honey's in there. Try not to make too big of a mess.
So cap it up and give it a good shake until the outside of that starts to frost. You can feel a little bit more vigorous.
A little bit more vigor. Okay.
Yeah.
It's dry January. Now skip the gym January.
That's
so
right.
Here we go.
That's right.
All right. It's a little chilly. I think we're ready.
Yeah. Let's bring our glasses over.
Now you guys noticed how easy that was. I mean, aside from the tea, which we obviously didn't make on camera, I mean, you said that takes what, like 30 minutes to make the tea, you would say?
Yeah, so what you do is you slice up the ginger as thin as you can get it, because the more surface area, the more steepage that's going to happen. That's the word of the day, steepage.
Got it.
Bring it up to a boil. Be careful, it's going to kind of boil over. Don't fill your pot all the way to the top of water like I did earlier today.
Yeah.
And then turn it on as low as it'll go and let it steep for about a half an hour.
Yeah.
The longer you let it steep, the more concentrated it'll become. I kind of just left it on the stove, did some house chores, came back, and we were ready to go. I strained it out, and here we are.
Okay, awesome. So it's not, I mean, that was that easy. I mean, you saw I just put a little lemon juice. You know, Brian's a chef, he's a fancy guy, makes his own lemon juice. You could probably use a store-bought little, like, lemon-shaped guy. Just squirt it in there, right?
You could.
You could. I'm sure this tastes going to be much better. And then just, simple run-of-the-mill honey. Local preferred, right, when you can, but understand that not everybody has a honey farm, I guess it would be, right down the apiary?
Apiary is the
there
word.
We go, word of the day.
Well, steepage is, but...
Okay, yeah, okay. All right, and we're just going to pour it in there. And I noticed you snuck in a little zest.
Yeah, some lemon peel to make you feel like you're still hanging out at the bar for happy hour. I think that's one of the things that people lack when it comes to these kind of mocktail things, is that we're not doing it as nice as we are a normal drink.
Yeah.
So I think by adding a garnish, paying a little bit more attention to the ingredients that go in it, you're going to wind up with something a little bit more elevated. Let's see how you did.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers.
That's a spot.
You know, it almost tastes like candy.
It does.
You have that
Actually,
lemon coming in over the honey. It's not like a lozenger.
No.
But the ginger does make it kind of have that candy flavor.
Yeah. And I'm a big fan of kombucha myself. This has a little kombucha, like, maybe taste to it, depending, of course, on the flavor.
Yeah, and you know what? If you make your own kombucha, there's no reason why you can't turn this tea into kombucha.
That is true.
As long as you follow any kind of sanitary practices, you could definitely do that.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right.
This was a hit, so let's give the people what they came for. Get your drink out of the way here.
I'll take that.
Oh, yeah. I want to rob you of your gut health.
Thank you. Thank you.
There you go.
So let's make a little room on here. This is something that I made for you guys when you opened up your store here.
But should we tell the people what we're doing? Or do you want to just kind of piece it together and like play what is Brian making? Those one of those blurry images. It's going to come into focus as we go.
Right. Well, you know what? We are going to drop some recipes. So if people do want to follow along, they can. But I'll leave that ball in your court. What do you think?
I think we got to tell them. So this is going to be a pancake cake.
Correct.
So pancakes on top of pancakes on top of pancakes. Cake. So highlighting a ingrained pancake mix, but also Brian's secret recipe of the buttercream filling. So this is going to be a real treat.
Yep. So you've seen crepe cakes most likely, right?
Yep.
They're on the internet. They were a big trend maybe last year, earlier on, a little bit before that. And I thought, well, why not pancakes? Why can't pancakes get the spotlight?
Yep.
So that was my drive to get these going.
And what we did is we actually tricked you all into cleansing your gut first, because now we're going to jump into pancake cake. So joke's on you guys.
That's right.
Here we go.
So what I did was I took a French buttercream, which is it's not your Duncan Hines, right? Like this is going to be a little bit more involved. You're actually starting with eggs, believe it or not. You're going to take egg yolks and you're going to whip them and then pour boiling sugar over them. And what that does is it stabilizes the eggs, but also pasteurizes them. Yeah, so we're taking out any kind of risk of bacteria. So you get the richness from the egg, you get the sweetness from the sugar, and then what's going to go ahead and keep that from fizzling out and just deflating like a meringue is adding a lot of butter.
Gotcha.
So I cubed up some butter, room temperature, and you put it in piece by piece. Now you have to be careful when you're making something like this because you're dealing with hot sugar and it's very easy to burn yourself. And sugar's not forgiving.
No.
When I was first learning how to cook and work with sugar, I saw this really nice bubble in a sugar. Like I was boiling sugar, making caramel.
You touched it, didn't you?
And I went to go pop the bubble, and as I pulled my finger back, there was this molten strand of sugar that connected to my finger.
Yeah.
And I learned a valuable lesson that day.
There we go. So tell the folks at home what you're doing now. And You're using some fancy stuff, but not everybody obviously has a whole pastry kit at home. So
Yeah.
what are some substitutions, if you're just saying, hey, I'm going to whip this up for breakfast one day?
So, I mean, this is a decadent breakfast, Eric. I don't
is.
know what your balanced plate looks like, but
Well, if you put that all on the plate, it'll be balanced.
I have a piping bag, and I have a fitted to that piping bag like this plastic insert.
Yep.
And what this does, this allows you to kind of change up your tips as you go. So you can refill the bag as you need to without having to take this out, put on a circle tip, put on a leaf tip. It just kind of helps with the decorating process.
Yeah, okay.
And I like to always use the bag because it just helps with the application.
Yep.
You could easily take a spatula and just lather it up.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't going to be the most beautiful iced cake you've ever seen because the pancakes aren't molded. I didn't cut them to perfect size. This is just really more for fun.
Yep.
And this is something that you can get kids involved with.
Yeah.
Have your kids make the pancakes while you're doing the frosting. You don't have to do a French buttercream. You could do whipped cream. Something like that would be even easier. So I'm just going to go ahead and put our final layer of frosting on the top. And you can do this on a cake stand too. Kind of makes it easier as you spin it and go. But I also just take the piping bag and go along the outside. And what this is going to do is when I spread it out, it's going to get me a lot more. Like, this looks hilarious, right? When you see the cake, you're like, oh my goodness gracious, this guy said he knew how to bake.
I'm going to pause you for one sec here, but just so everybody at home can kind of see, right? Like, Brian's just going up and down with it.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Yep, it really does look like a kid is making this.
It kind of does.
No offense to the kids.
This is for kids and kids at heart.
Yeah. So what I'll do next is kind of fill in any spots. And then, Eric, entertain the people while I get some more tools.
Okay. So should we come up with a name for our cake? No, I'm just kidding. I don't think anybody actually names their cakes. But I think the best part about this whole thing when it's done is it's still breakfast with a little bit of a surprise. And before we go too far, Brian, we should mention what other flavors of pancake mix are out there that they could use on this.
So because it's cake, I said, why not do funfetti or confetti, depending upon who you're asking and who's copyrighted.
Right.
So I did that because I liked sprinkles in my cake. I think it's like a celebration cake. It's very fun. You could definitely do this with the pumpkin spice mix.
Yeah.
You could do a chocolate frosting with the hot cocoa if there's any of that still laying around.
Yeah.
Even the original, it doesn't have to be too complicated, but it's something you could do. I've made cupcakes out of the batter before. You just have to be careful about spraying the liners and not overcooking them because they'll come out like hockey pucks. This little tool is every cake decorator's best friend because it's going to help you make a nice straight side or, in this case, a wavy side. Okay. So you just push it against the side, and I'm going to slowly turn it.
And if we didn't have a cake decorating tool at home, spatula? Yeah.
And you know what I'll probably do is I'll probably use a spatula to help this out because it's a little cold in here. You can see the frosting is actually not really playing nice, which is okay because it's going to taste really good no matter what. And if it's for breakfast, everyone's still tired. They're not really looking at it.
Not even paying attention.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I mean, you could get crazy with this too, right? You're doing sliced strawberries, maybe some blueberries, bananas. You had your fruit on there. Mm-hmm. I guess you could put bacon on there too, in theory. I mean, why the heck not?
You could.
Right?
I mean, I've heard some people are crazy enough to put bacon inside of their ice cream. I was never that kind of guy, but they were doing it. So this is just a little offset spatula. I'm just kind of trying to smooth out these sides a little bit, the best we can. Yeah. Because that's all we can do, right?
That's the best we can.
That's it.
That's all we're all doing. There we go. It's looking good. It's coming to life.
You don't have to lie to me.
No, I'm watching it take shape right before my eyes.
All right.
There we go. And the beautiful thing about pancake cake is Brian made, call it 4-inch, maybe diameter pancakes. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could do a foot. You could do 2 feet. You could make huge pancakes, and then you'd have a huge pancake cake. On the same token, you could go the other way.
Oh, yeah.
Silver dollar pancake cake. There's nothing wrong with that.
How adorable would that be? You walk into a party, and there's these bite-sized little cakes.
Yep. You must really like your friends if you're making all those little pancake cakes.
Yeah. I mean, give me your money at that point,
That's
right?
That's it.
So we're going to smooth out the top here.
Oh, this come to life. All right.
Yeah,
Just get a little nervous for a bit, but You've been looking good.
They didn't know you were nervous until you said that.
I'm appealing, to the fans. People at home are nervous too, so it's all good. It looks good.
So I'm going to go ahead and put a little tip on here, try to make it look a little bit better. Maybe you'll be hungover when you have this cake after dry January's done.
That's right.
So it won't really matter. But that's kind of like the beauty of this, You go and buy a cake and you have no idea what it looked like while they were making it. You just have the final piece. So it could have looked like this, before you spent your money on it.
Yeah, it's coming to life. So what are you doing now, Brian? It looks like this is just some decoration around.
Yeah, I'm just playing at this point. This is there's so many different ways you can decorate a cake. You can get fancy and do straight sides and do like chocolate chips over the top. You see a lot of that these days. This is what's called like a spritz. You're just doing like these quick little like 1, 2, 3 kind of, remember when I was growing up, I had like a Cookie Monster cake and all that blue icing was just like spritzed on.
Yeah.
That's what it makes me think of.
Yeah, okay.
Now, the consistency of this frosting, I wouldn't try to like spell a name out because that would probably set you up to break your dry January.
Yeah.
But do what we do.
There we go. So now, could we add food coloring to this as well?
You could.
Get a little crazy with the colors?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So if you have kids at home, you're adding a little food coloring, it starts to get a little more of a creative process. Mm-hmm. So the moral of the story is you can have a lot of fun with this. It's pretty versatile. There's no right or wrong way to do it, just like the drink earlier. I mean, just make it however you feel like you want to.
Yeah, and it's all about having fun.
Yeah.
And make sure you show your good side. Like back here looks like it fell on the floor, and up here it's a little bit straighter. So this is the side I'm going to show you, right?
Yes. You're not supposed to tell people that. What are you talking about? Awesome. So are there any final steps or any comments to the end of the cake?
I say just eat it,
Just eat it.
Yeah. I mean, you could. I think, some nice banana slices would be really good on this one up top.
Yeah.
Maybe you heat up whatever your fancy is. Maybe some Nutella over the top. Maybe some peanut butter. But yeah, I think this is that's as good as it's going to get today.
That's okay. All right. Do we cut into this thing?
Ooh, did you bring a knife?
We're using the spatula. Here we go. Awesome.
Now,
I'm going to grab an off-screen fork here, too.
They say you don't really know how good it came out until you can see the slice.
That's true.
So, I think we have a smaller plate coming.
Yeah, here we go. Well, our handy assistants. It's a high-quality production over here.
Now I feel a little bit better because I took a peek.
Ooh.
When you're on the line and you're cooking a steak for somebody, you kind of cut into it to make sure you cooked it to the right temperature. So now, all jokes aside,
look at that! Look at that!
We have this nice stacked cake.
Oh, we got to give the viewers what they want here. Look at this.
Now that's going to make someone happy.
You see that? Look at those sprinkles, those perfect layers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is an Ingrained special right here.
Yeah. Copyright pending.
Right. Of course. Sorry.
Yeah.
Should I go for it?
Yeah, absolutely. Right. I'm going to have some more tea.
Yeah.
Bone apple tea.
Bone apple tea. I mean, again, what would be wrong about pancakes with buttercream icing, with confetti inside, edible confetti inside? So I think what we have here is a home run. After this video, we are going to post the recipe, so see that below in the comments of the post. If you're watching us on Instagram, check out our website. We'll have it posted there as well. Any final comments for the viewers?
Yes. If you're going to try this recipe out, be very careful with the sugar. I just want to reiterate that one more time. I've gotten some really bad burns, and I've worked with sugar a lot. So if you're going to follow the recipe to the T and really boil that sugar, make sure you're pouring it against the side of your mixing bowl and it's not hitting that whisk, because that whisk is going to hit the sugar and then it's going to go all over the place, and then it might get on yourself. And I don't want to be liable, right?
No, we do not. So awesome. The pancake cake, again, super easy to make, right? As was our delicious drink. We'll have the recipes for both of those. And I think the moral of the story here is, make of it what you want, right? Go stronger on the drink if you want. Dilute it a little bit. Make that your own. Yeah. The cake, certainly a great activity if you have kids at home. Everybody's quarantined up. Want to mix it up. Need something to take your mind off the dry January. You got both of these at your disposal now. So a
little good, a little bad. So you can feel nice and balanced.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, hopefully you guys all enjoyed our second episode of Happy Hour and Home, and thanks for watching, and stay tuned for our next one.
Thank you.